Okay, if you've been watching the Summer League, you know we have to talk about it. A few days ago, I posted a video about Brandon Miller in which I did some scouting to show you guys what he brought to the Charlotte Hornets. I will link the video in the description and also put a card in the top right corner so you guys can check out the video. Any concerns that I brought up in that video is now being blasted on live TV. Brandon has been struggling really bad, and if these things do not improve, it might get worse. People will say don't overreact because it is only the Summer League, but I think that's the go-to line to defend a player. But my rebuttal to that is film doesn't lie. All of Brandon's weaknesses are being exploited against undrafted players and players who don't get many minutes. You are the number 2 pick in the draft, so you have one bad game, it's okay, because it's his first game in the NBA, that makes sense. Another bad game isn't good. So before we get into what's going wrong with Brandon Miller, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Let's get into it. The first thing I will admit that caught me off guard was the amount of fouling Brandon Miller has been doing. In his first 2 games in the Summer League, Brandon has racked up an abnormal amount of fouls, coming in at 14 total, 6 in his first game and 8 in the second. Summer League has an interesting rule where you have to foul 10 times before you get kicked from the game. In a normal NBA setting, it's 6 fouls, which means in both games he would have fouled out. Some fouls were pretty soft, I will say, but others were pretty bad as well. Despite the reffing, it surprised me because when I was watching his games, I felt like his defense is his best attribute. But even on defense, he didn't look that good. However, I'm not really worried about that part of his game. What worries me is the other stuff. When I discussed Brandon Miller with some of my friends, I told them that Brandon Miller doesn't seem to want the basketball. I was told it was the college system that creates those type of situations. In his second game, he only attempted 4 shots, only making 2 of them. In college, I noticed the exact same thing. Of course, he isn't the point guard, so he won't have the ball in his hands all the time, but he doesn't demand the ball either. My biggest gripe about Brandon Miller when I watched him was I felt like he lacked a killer instinct. Not many players can guard Brandon Miller when he really wants to go at you. Unfortunately, mindset is something that can't really be taught. You either want it or you don't. The next big thing is the turnovers. Turnovers are never good because they give a momentum boost to the other team, and that is never good. In his 2 games, he has 9 turnovers combined, 5 in the first and 4 in the second. A lot of turnovers were self-inflicted as well. Again, it goes to him not really wanting the ball. There was one play where he just chucked it into the traffic on a fast break, hoping his teammate will grab it and score. But one thing I will say that has been looked over by the media is that Brandon Miller has been affecting the game away from scoring, which is good to see in a young player. It is hard for young players to keep it together emotionally after having such a tough time getting things going. Against the Warriors, he did have 7 assists, 4 rebounds, and a steal. And despite the turnovers and the fouls, against the Spurs, he had 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. He also knocked down 3 threes at that. So yes, overall, I am a bit worried about what I am seeing. I am just not going to pass it off as it's just a summer league because it will be worse than the real NBA. But I will say that I think he will develop into a fine player in his career. After all, it is an adjusting period for young rookies, but I want to see that dog mentality from him. I know he has it because it flashes here and there, but it isn't consistent at all. So we'll see what will happen next. But if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications. Peace out.